Vibes of Cosmos on his YouTube channel posted a week ago this video. Look at this, look at this. So white is continents, lands, and water, blue is water, oceans, and seas. And we are here. Look at this mouse. We are here. This is like what the moon map shows with the known continents and Pangea and everything else. This is amazing. So, and why? Because if you read, I mean, I'm not sure if this is true yet because it's only like been a week and the 6th book of Vibes of Cosmos is going to come out in September. But if this is the map of Mars, now, considering that the moon is the inverted mirror map X-ray electromagnetic projection of the surfaces of the continents and the oceans, the bottom of the oceans. In the books of Vibes of Cosmos, he explains what the planets are. They're etherical fields, electromagnetic fields, one inside the other, just like the matroshka dolls in Russian, right? You have a big one, then you have a small one and a small one. So we are on the surface of the Earth. We see Mercury and Venus and the Moon, and then we see Mars, and then we see Jupiter. And if you know, on Jupiter there's a spot, and that spot is Mars, because we are on the surface and we see it from the bottom upwards. So look at this. This is amazing. Look at the size of the continents. Look at, so if we are here, we are like here. This is like the video from Vibes of. I'm hoping that Vibes of Cosmos is not going to be feel bad about this. I'm giving credit to his online website and the YouTube channel. But this is amazing because look at this. The white stuff is continents, and the blue is water. Remember what NASA said? Because NASA gives us lots of truths, along with lots of non so good truths. And they said the universe is a world of oceans. Makes sense. So if this is the map of Mars, then you can imagine what the map of Jupiter looks like, because Jupiter is the field, the etheric electromagnetic field, which is above Mars. So Jupiter would show more lands, more continents, and more oceans in the universe. And the universe, of course, is not what we see in movies. It's just plain, flat, and then we have continents, oceans, land, water, land, water. Now, oh, and this Hela Sea here, it looks so creepy. Look at this. Vibes of Cosmos, and this is like the thing I love. So he starts with this like green spot, right? This is the entrance of the black sun, of the electromagnetic source, right? What we call in Hyperborea, because right now we are in the era of PCs, right? And this is where the electromagnetic source comes through in this world, and this is the place where there's no ice. And Pangea is the place where it's like the now ice age, and this goes like this, and the reset of 26,000 years. Sure, but then like Vibes of Cosmos shows in his 5th book, when he puts the moon map on the 2D plane, and you see that the borders are like black, which is meant for like continents, and of course one assumes that, okay, there must be more lands and more oceans, right? Sure, and this is what in this video that came out a week ago with the title Earth in Mars map. And it makes sense because now we know that, look at this, this is where we are, right? Let's basically like focus. This is where we are, right? This is Pangea here. This is Mordor, where Tolkien took the land, the western coast of Pangea, to put it in the books. And then Vibes of Cosmos using the Mars map, which makes sense because it's electromagnetic projection, just like the moon, right? Mars. If you read the five previous books, and zooms out, and all of a sudden you see that there's more white and more blue, and with lots of craters. And again, don't mistake it. Many of you have taken that crater stuff thing the same as I did before I found Vibes of Cosmos. I fell into the crater delusional thing. The craters are the bottoms of the oceans, as you can see here. Look at this. All the side, the place where you see blue, huge craters. And Vibes of Cosmos explains with the dry fumes and the explosion and the implosion in the earth what the craters are. Everything has to do with thermal processes and everything else. And look at this. All of a sudden we see that the world that we live in, along with Pangea, which is the ice age, is just the tip, part of the tip, what we would call the north, of a huge, gigantic, big continent, Arabia. It's not to do with the Arabian country. It's just because the Mars map calls that place Arabia. But it's nothing to do with like the Arabians and stuff. Don't get this wrong. On the Mars map, just like the EC, Sea and the other seas, this is like the names that NASA and people who work in the official environment, they've given it on the Mars map, right? Look at this. So we are just a tiny part of a huge, tremendous land of continent, which is like this here. Look at this. Look at this. Huge continent, and we are here. And then there's a bunch of water, and then all these seas, like Utopia Ocean, EC Sea, Hephaestus Sea. Again, these are, you can give these names whatever names you want. The most important thing is that this is the electromagnetic projection of Mars. in the upper fields, which is like above the superlunar area, right? Like Vibes of Cosmos explains in his books. And if this is true, then we are just this. We are just here. And there's a huge massive continent, and there's a huge massive continent here, and there's a huge continent here, and there's another continent here, and then like lots of islands and continents, and then there's huge water everywhere. And then this Hela Sea that shows black, God knows what's there. Look at the distance. So again, of course, this for a big majority of people is too much, because it's too much for them to assume that the Antarctic Treaty is the limitation of the world we are allowed to live in, and then we have Pangea. But when you go to more continents, so if this is the Mars map, Mars being the inverted mirror projection electromagnetic of the bigger universe, then what does Jupiter shows? Because this ocean continues onwards, and this ocean as well, and this continent as well, which means that there's more ocean, more water, and more continents on the flat surface of the universe. So again, who is the creator? Don't ask me. The thing is here, you speak with people and you tell them about space with spinning balls with curved water, and they're okay with it. And you say, oh yeah, space is infinite and all the balls spin in space, and they're okay with it. But you give them, hey, look, the universe is a universe of oceans and continents and more lands and more oceans. And no, don't tell me that. This is conspiracy. So people prefer to live on spinning balls with curved water spinning in space in a fantastical CGI environment than to understand what's logical. We have a continent, ocean, continent, ocean. Sure, you can't go to the other continents because either there's an ice age or either there's a political military treaty and you're not allowed to go. And it makes more sense, more logical sense. This is amazing. So if we are, and then he makes zoom on the different continents. He goes to all the continents and the oceans. Again, I'm hoping that this is going to come in the 6th book. And all these craters, you see all these craters, which are explained in the books. There's craters on the bottom of the oceans, but there's also craters on certain continents or lands. But the big majority of the craters, the big craters, are the depths of the oceans. And he makes a zoom on each part of what the Mars map shows. Sure, now that the moon map makes sense, and it definitely makes sense to me, the moon map, from an electromagnetic, black sun electromagnetic type of environment, understanding, then that means that there's other black suns or electromagnetic sources which are bigger than the black sun that we have here. So who knows how many like electromagnetic sources are to make this projection possible on the upper fields of what we call what's above the superlunar area, right? And then there's Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. Can you imagine like if Jupiter and Saturn and Uranus, they show the bigger universe with more lands and more oceans? Then we are just like NASA says, and it's true. We are nothing. We are just like, I mean, how many more people and races and giants and non-giants and political systems with peace and technology and well-being, and also political systems with usury and debt, slavery and mortgages and stuff, and even political systems which are worse than our political system. Who knows? So the universe is big. So how? And then people say, "Oh, save me, save me." Look at how much more land and continents. I mean, just in this area, which is like Pangea and the Antarctic Treaty, there's so much land. Look at this. It's infinite. If this is true, the amount of land and oceans, fascinating stuff. So again, Vibes of Cosmos. I put the links to Vibes of Cosmos, to his YouTube channel and the online shop, and to this video. And I'm sure hoping for the next book in September. See you next time. And if this is true, it's mind blowing.